About Time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to my About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang? Thank you to every single one of y'all that has subscribed to the channel, who has been taking out the time to watch the videos, like the videos, and share the videos and leave the comments. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to Rashawn's About Time Boxing. Encourage others to subscribe. Become part of the About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang. Alright, so Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez did what he said he would do. He set out to prove a point, and he proved his point. He told Caleb Plant that he was going to prove to him that he was not on that level, that he wasn't, ready. I want to say congratulations is in order for Canelo Alvarez, who gave a spectacular performance, finished the fight in dramatic fashion, and I salute Caleb Plant, because that wasn't, it wasn't an easy fight for him. It wasn't an easy fight for him, and I believe that the fight was a lot harder than he even anticipated. And like I said, whether I like a fighter or not, I give the credit, I give the props where the props is due. But I said in the last video that I made, I said in order for Caleb Plant to win this fight, he's going to have to be on top of his game. You cannot be in there slacking against a fighter like Canelo. Canelo, has the bigger resume, the bigger names, and he's been in a lot more bigger fights. This was Caleb Plant's, this was the biggest fight of his career. And yes, I picked Caleb Plant to win the fight because the fight was winnable. He could have won the fight. But Caleb Plant didn't do the necessary things that was needed, nor did he make the necessary adjustments that was needed to win the fight. Because I did a few videos about Caleb Plant and Canelo, leading up to the fight. And a lot of people picked Canelo to win, so shout out to all y'all who picked Canelo to win the fight. But the fight was winnable. Caleb Plant definitely has the skill. He has the skill set. He could have beaten Canelo. Even though there was some people saying that there were similarities and in his style, based on how Floyd beat him. A lot of people felt like, even Leonard Ellerby, a few other people said, and they picked Canelo. They picked Caleb Plant to win too, because they seen the similarities, but it's what's up here. And there's certain things, and I made references to Caleb Plant. I said, listen, if he gets hurt, he cannot try to go into survival mode, trying to fight back, or, he can't be scared to, pop shot, tie Canelo up if he needs to try to frustrate him, get him off his game plan. But you just trying to go toe-to-toe. You can't go toe-to-toe with a fighter like Canelo. And I said that one of the things Caleb Plant would have to do, he would have to tie Canelo up. He can't be scared to do that. And as soon as he got hurt, he's running. You see, turning his back. You never turn your back in the fight. Especially when you in there with somebody, who has the skill, the skill set, and the ability to hurt you like Canelo does. You never ever, and this is why I said I picked Caleb Plant to, to win, for the fight to go 12 rounds, for him to, win the fight, going the distance. Because he has a skill set, but I knew he couldn't knock Canelo out, and it was not likely that he could hurt Canelo with one punch. So, and then people was talking about how, Caleb Plant was talking to Canelo, in the ring. I can't remember what round it was. I think it was round 9 during the fight. He was talking with him and all that. But That was not Caleb Plant. Like that wasn't him. Trying to like encourage himself during the fight. That was really his way of really acknowledging, like, damn, like, you are as good as they say you are. That was him referencing that to Canelo. That's why he said, like, this is a good fight here. Yeah, not bad for 21-0, huh? Like, basically saying, like, damn, that was the moment where he realized, like, this dude really is as good as they say he is. And that's why, like, even with the, even though, like I said, even though Canelo was juicing, before and got suspended for 6 months and all that, but that's why I said juicing or not. That's not what gives him his ability. He had to already have that skill set and that ability. It had to already be in him. And he beat Caleb Plant. And listen, I tip my hat. A big congratulations to Saul Canelo Alvarez. On a great victory, and on becoming the first Mexican undisputed super middleweight champion. He made history, and and he deserved it. He deserved it. Like I said, if I'm hard on a fighter for something, then I'm gonna be hard on him. But when they do good, I'm gonna give it to him. Like I said, I wasn't impressed with his last 2 or 3 fights, based on like the people that he selected and things like that. But he earned this one, and he got I always respected Canelo, so I don't want people to misconstrue this thing. Like, I respect all fighters, because if you ever been in that ring, then it's not easy, to train and train and train to get yourself, in a certain amount of shape when you step in that ring, because them gloves don't tickle at all. But like I said, I salute Caleb Plant. You know what I'm saying? Now, somebody asked me, well, do you think Caleb Plant will be able to bounce back? Yes, but it depends. Caleb Plant will be able to bounce back depending on how he allows this loss to affect him mentally and psychologically. Because he did a good job with selling the fight. See, the thing about when you selling fights and you promoting these fights, and we know a lot of it is just for show and stuff like that, but you got a lot of people that's saying, okay, they expecting you to step in that ring and do everything you said you was going to do in that fight. And there's very few fighters who can say what they going to do when they get in that ring and they actually do it. It's not that many. And Canelo, he didn't get him, within 8 rounds, but he was patient, and he knew that at some point that it would come. I thought that Caleb Plant started out, boxing a good fight, but then after a while, I just think that somewhere along the line, he just got away from his game plan, and Canelo stuck to his. Canelo stuck to his game plan. I felt like he never deviated. He knew what he wanted to do. He knew what and he did what he set out to do. Caleb Plant looked like he started getting a little gassed at some point, and that's what I'm saying. If you need to, get your win back and stuff, this is why, there's nothing wrong with tying a fighter up if you need to. That's why I said, like Miguel Cotto was another fighter. And I told everybody I was a huge fan of Miguel Cotto, but Miguel Cotto was one of those guys who, when he would get hurt, he would still, exert unnecessary energy, bouncing around, moving. He would never tie. He would never tie the opposition up. And that's one of the things you would always see Floyd do. Floyd get his shot off, and when they coming on Floyd, to tie him up. Walk him back to the ropes, or just tie him up and hold him to the referee, break him apart. Then he'd get reset. And then he would, do this. There's nothing wrong with tying up a fighter. That don't make you a coward. If that's part of your strategic plan, so you can get yourself reset, and because you can train for one thing, but then when you actually in the ring, there's only a few fighters who can who can make those adjustments on the fly. The necessary adjustments that need to be made in order to be victorious in the fight. Terrence Crawford is one of those guys who can do that. Floyd Mayweather is one of those guys who can do that. Canelo Alvarez is one of those guys who can do that. You got certain fighters who can make those necessary adjustments, but you got fighters who can't. And they fight one way, and that's the only way they know, and that's what they do. And Miguel Cotto, for one particular type of way, excellent. I thought Miguel Cotto, skill-wise, one of the best boxers to ever put on a pair of gloves. I loved the way he boxed. But when he would get hurt, he would just still keep moving around while they trying to walk him down instead of, tie him up. When he fought Ricardo Torres and he fought a few other fights and I seen him get hurt, I'm like, why aren't you tying this guy up? Grab him and hold him. You can do that. When Shane hit, cracked Floyd and he hurt Floyd, what did Floyd do? Tie him up. That's making an adjustment on the fly and knowing that if you have to do that at some point in the fight, then you got to do it. And Caleb Plant, he just... Listen, Caleb Plant is still one of my favorite fighters. And if they was to fight again tomorrow, I would pick him again. I know some of y'all like, you crazy. But I say that to say this, Canelo fought him once. He will never fight Caleb Plant again. Canelo would never give him that opportunity to fight again. That ship is sailed. So if Caleb Plant gonna be a champion again, Canelo is gonna vacate. You know what I'm saying? Or by some chance he lose one of those belts to somebody, you know what I mean, or something like that. But other than that, Caleb Plant, he can be a champion again, but it's just not going to be fighting Canelo Alvarez. It'll be, there's a lot of fights out there for him, that I would still love to see him fight. You got Jamal Charlo, of course, David Benavidez, Demetrius Andrade. And by the way, I don't know, if he fought David Benavidez, I would probably pick David Benavidez to beat Caleb Plant. I like David Benavidez. So there's a lot. There's some fights out there at 68. You still got Daniel Jacobs out there. You still got Triple G. Hanging around. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there's some fights out there. There's fights out there that can be made. Maybe he can probably fight at some I don't know, catch weights, but I don't see that happening. So we're gonna see what Caleb Plant goes from here. But like I said, I feel like that he he'll be able to bounce back, but it's just based on how he let this loss affect him. You know what I'm saying? So he said he was proud to go out on the shield, not saying yeah, I wanted to go out like that, but no, let me if I'm gonna go out, let me go out on my shield. I'm not scared of the task. I'll step up every time. So, and you got to respect that in any fighter. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. So, how do y'all, what do y'all think Caleb Plant did wrong in that fight? What do y'all think he did wrong, and what do y'all think he should have done in order for him to win? What could Caleb Plant have done to win that fight? And how do y'all feel about Canelo's performance overall in the fight? Because there was a lot of the analysts and stuff like that. A lot of people had Caleb Plant ahead in the first couple rounds, you know what I'm saying? But then Canelo, of course, started to heat up. He started to come on, and Canelo, he can hang around to that 12. He can stay strong to that 12th round. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So how do y'all, and did y'all enjoy the fight? Did y'all think the fight lived up to the hype? I felt like that it lived up, to its hype. Even though I still would have liked to see Caleb Plant do a little more as far as being able to make the spontaneous, necessary adjustments, but again, that's why I'm saying you never know until you inside that ring. Being on the outside looking in and watching the fight, we can all have our opinions about what we think somebody should have done. And because I want to know how y'all view the fight. I want to know how y'all feel, what do y'all think Caleb Plant did wrong? What could he have done better, in order to beat Canelo? How y'all feel about Canelo's overall performance? This win, though, for sure, I'll say this real fast. This win, if anybody had any doubts about Canelo being in the pound for pound discussion, this fight for sure. Him being undisputed, that right there just silenced all that. So, you know, hate him or love him, you know what I mean? He definitely in that talk. And I saw him take some pictures with Teofimo Lopez, and they tell him, "Oh yeah, you undisputed." Listen, Teofimo Lopez, stop lying. You are not undisputed, okay? You're not. You're a unified champion. You're not undisputed. So, again, like I said, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, leave those comments, and yeah, again, like I said, you know, and how do y'all think? And how do y'all think Caleb Plant is going to bounce back? Do y'all can he bounce back from this? Do y'all think he can be a champion again? Do y'all think Caleb can be a champion again? You know, I gave y'all my thoughts on it, and like I said it, I reiterate it. He can bounce back from this depending on how he let this loss affect him mentally, emotionally, and psychologically, depending on how he let this loss affect him. If you look at it like, man, okay, you can't win them all right, look, at least I got that loss out the way, you know, because you got some people that lose once and they say, you know what, I'm not losing no more. Canelo lost once to Floyd and he said that was it. He wasn't losing no more, and he hasn't lost since, and he has not lost since. So yeah, so like I said, how do y'all, you know, how did y'all like the fight? How did y'all feel about Canelo's performance? How y'all think Caleb Plant did? Did y'all think he gave a good showing of himself in that fight up until he got knocked out, until he got stopped? You know, like I said, I thought he did good. I felt like there was a lot more that he could have done. You know, he shouldn't have been, you know, like, you don't have to, like, being a warrior doesn't always mean, like, you know, if you get hurt, you just keep trying to slug until you get cracked with a shot you don't see coming, because you in survival mode now. Because when you in survival mode, you're not really thinking clear. And that's why they say it's a thinking man's game. And if you in survival mode, that's when you need to be able to think your clearest. That's when you need to be able to think your clearest, when you're in survival mode. And I just feel like that, you know, Caleb Plant wasn't able to do that. So yeah, like this video, share this video, leave those comments, encourage others to subscribe. If you have not subscribed and you watching this video for the first time, hit that subscribe button and tell other people, yo, subscribe to that guy Rashawn's About Time Boxing. And I appreciate y'all, each and every one of y'all. I appreciate y'all. Love.